Uh, Hello, in this video, I'm going to demo the steps of the lab 2-3 in chapter 2. So how to predict a company's likelihood to go bankruptcy using the ultimate Z-score. So if you open the download and open the lab 2-3, the Excel file I posted on the Blackboard, you will got about over 5,000 rows of real companies and their financial data in the past. So we have the company, the GB key is a unique identifier in the stock market for each company. Then we have the company name and the different fiscal years. Then we have 9 different financial accounts and also so 8 financial accounts and 1 market value related columns. So those are all of the critical financial information related to each company. So now we are going to use Altman's formula to put them into a combo calculation to show the likelihood of bankruptcy using the calculation result. So to do this, I already explained the detailed meaning for each of the column in class, and it also has explanations in the ebook. So under chapter 3, lab 2-3, so you can check for that. And those information, the data dictionary is under page 75 of chapter 2 in the ebook. So in addition to all of the columns we already have in the file, so I'm going to create a 5 composite before I calculate the final z. So x1 through x5. So I'm just using x1 and then drag to the next 4 columns. So we'll have the x1 through x5, the labels ready in the Excel so we can input the formulas for each of them. So x1 is the dimension of current liabilities, like current adequacy of the current working assets. For this one, I'm using the formula in the bottom of page 75 in the ebook. So x1 should equals to d2 minus the g2, use parentheses and divide by e2, which is the total asset. And this one, we don't need the dollar sign for the sale values because they are supposed to rolling down and to the other columns of the data so we can get all of the formula pasted to other rows. So D2 minus G2, but remember to use the parentheses and divide by the E2. So be very careful about your formula because I got some mistakes. If you see your results is different from mine, most likely is in the formula part. So that's X1. And then X2 equals to, that's the long-term liability. So we use J2, the EBIT divided, I think return earnings divided by E2, which is the total assets. So long-term profitability ratios. Then X3 is the F2 divided by the E2, which is the current. So current or recent profitabilities. And then X4 is your market value, is the L2 divided by H2. Oh, be careful. L2 divided by H2. H2 is the book value of the company. And finally, equals to K2, the sales momentum. So K2 divided by E2. Oh, this one I forgot using the equal sign. Okay. So first, before you calculate the z, make sure each of the x1 through x5, you got the right formula for all of the related columns. And then we have the z, so I will put it here, the z-score. So this is a composite number. We are going to evaluate the companies into different clusters or different zones. So the z-score is a weighted. So we put a different weight for each of the x. So x1 they put so 1.2. Okay, for the current liability ratio, so this is 1.2 times, so multiply by M2, then plus the second weight is 1.4 for long-term liabilities. Be very careful when you put these formulas. If something wrong, just back or delete and restart. So with X2, long-term profitabilities. Then 3.3, this is really a large weight we put on the recent liabilities, which is X3. And let me move and then add 0.6 for market speculations, which is the X4. Oh, sorry, multiply by 4. And then finally, for sales momentum, X5 is 1, so I don't need to do anything, just add Q2, add X5. So this formula, before you move on, double check you're referring to the correct column with the numbers, the weight numbers correctly. Okay. And then I will confirm. I think the first one should got something like mine. Okay, so that's the one. That way you make sure your formulas are all right. So after I got all of the done, I'm going to copy all of the formula to the remaining rows. For this one, I can highlight, just highlight all of the six column in the first row. When you use your cursor, okay, if you don't have a mouse, be very right bottom, or similar. Here you see the black cross, and then double click. You see the formula is copying down to all of the remaining rows, and we are seeing that this word is coming up. Let me highlight this. Because you can see some companies you already see negative Z's, or it means they are very stressed, so very likely to go bankruptcy. So the book gave us a few threshold. There are two threshold separate the Z score into 3 zones. So that's like our threshold. So our threshold, I will put it on the T. So this one will be beans. So that's the number, like the evaluation, okay, evaluation threshold. So the B is the first one I put like 1.7999 is like 1.8. Below 1.8 is the distressed zone. And then above, so I will adjust the space, okay, 2.999. So below 1.8, distress zone, above 3, safe zone, and in between is a gray zone. So those explanations are in the top, or in the middle of page 77, or in the threshold. After I do this, even I got the individual Z-scores, I want to put them into the groups, like 3 groups or 3 bins, or you can say 3 clusterings. So clustering analysis, we can use the tools in the Excel. If you click on data, so data analytic tools, I'm going to use the data analysis package. This is a add-ins. If you don't have this, you can add from the options. So if you don't have this one, I will show you how to add it. So you go to the file, go down to the options, and then under the pop-up, click on the very left, use the add-ins. Okay, add-ins, and pick analysis tool pack from the top. I think number 3, analysis tool pack. Then in the bottom, there is a manage Excel add-ins. there is a goal. Okay, don't click OK at this point. So on in the right of Excel add-in, click Go. Now you see another small pop-up shows 4 different selections. If you don't have the analysis tool pack, so everything is unchecked, but make sure you check the analysis tool pack. I also checked the solver, which is another add-in. So because mine is already checked, so I don't need to check. You probably see all unchecked. So check analysis tool pack and check the solver, then click on OK. You will be able to see the data analysis added on your tab options. So now go back to the tab, like the under the data, and click on data analysis. And under the pop-up, select the histogram above the moving average, and click on OK. That's like a clustering analysis. Now we need to put the which data we want the program to analyze, evaluate. So our data is located in column R. Or in different file, you have the evaluation number in different columns. We have R, and I need to start from, so this one I need to use the dollar R, and then $2, which is our starting row. Our starting row is 2. Be careful, the book make a mistake, they put 1. Our number, row 1 is label name, or you need to have numerical values. So $R, $2, and use the 2 dot, the punctuation. And then $R, then to the $R, and then dollar. So for our file, I believe we have numerical values, then $5437. Okay, that's the total number of rows, total number of numerical rows under our data file. Again, when you work on a different data file, or if you want to do a partial analysis, you always can adjust your data range. Be very careful. And then the bin range means your evaluation criteria. Okay, what's the number I need to evaluate all of these? And we are referring them to the $T, $2, the 2 bin numbers. So we only have 2 rows of that. So $T, then $3. Okay, so T2 to T3. And you can check the label, okay, to showing what we are doing, and you can choose to show the result in the current worksheet, okay, by putting a output range or a new worksheet or a new workbook. I think a new worksheet is a default. And also you can choose if you want to show a chart immediately for the results, like visualization edit. So I'm going to just use this and click OK. And you can see my results is coming up in a new worksheet. Oh, I got my, yeah, let me double check. So I should have my, oh, this is my 2.3. Let me try it one more time. I should have 2. Okay, let me like go backwards to check my original. This seems not right. Because it's missing one clustering. Okay, so I'm going to do this one more time, histogram. And this time I'm not using the labels. Oh, I see. I don't have labels. Okay. If you put a 1, you need to use labels. Okay. Uncheck the label. Okay, that's the correct way to do it. Uncheck the label. And okay. Yeah, now we got it right. I thought about the label they add but the label is actually telling the system we have the row 1 is the label, right? So because I already chose row 2, my row 2 is no label, is already numericals. So bin, frequency, and the chart. And remember the first clustering, this is a distressed. So distressed zone, and then gray zone, and this is the save. So how many companies in each of the cluster? And if you want to have a sum, confirm that the total companies we started. And now we are losing probably one, like they are thinking about the first row, they are excluding the first, like the maybe row 2 or something. They are thinking about we have labels. So 5, 4, 36. Okay, that's kind of one row more or one row less. That's fine. But at least, okay, so that's knowing they are breaking them into 3 clustering. So clustering analysis. So let me put it here. The word. So clustering analysis is one type of predictions. Okay, main type of predictions for I think these grouping options, right? So for example, when you try to decide reject or accept a credit card application, right? So accept or reject all business loans or clustering the students into different based upon the profiling. Okay, so clustering grouping analysis. So histogram is very powerful. Okay, so rather than bankruptcy, you can use it for other purpose. And now we have a chart already put it here. Okay, you can see the number of the companies like related. So bankruptcy prediction analysis. And then now you can save. Okay, I'm not going to save. So you can save and submit it later in Blackboard with the lab 2-1. Okay, I'm only asking 2-1 and 2-3 for the demos, but you always recommended to try 2-2 and 2-4, which I also have video demos available.